Zohran Mamdani just posted a smiling photo with Siraj Wahhaj. He's a Brooklyn imam who prosecutors said was an unindicted co-conspirator in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. 6 New Yorkers were killed that day and 1,000 others were injured. Wahhaj was linked socially and religiously to some of the men involved in the bombing, and he was notorious for militant and radical rhetoric in his sermons. He's been linked to urging jihad on the Big Apple, which means to struggle militantly. And yes, our socialist frontrunner for New York City mayor is campaigning with him, because nothing says New York City state of mind like condoning terrorism in our city. Many people call this event a precursor to 9/11, paving the way to attack Americans under the same extremist Islamic ideology. Posing with him is an unbelievable insult to the memory of those innocent Americans who were killed on 9/11, many of whom were first responders, heroes who rushed into burning buildings to rescue survivors. I have a friend from Staten Island whose dad was a first responder and died on 9/11. The fire departments across all the boroughs and law enforcement, they feel this very deeply. That day still haunts them. So to see Mamdani getting cozy with people who helped lay the groundwork for 9/11 must be like opening the wound all over again. So this imam hates America. So I'm left wondering, does Mamdani, who remember is a Ugandan-born Muslim, feel the same way? And yet, he's dominating in the polls thanks to the Gen Z transplants who literally cannot remember 9/11 and some of whose rent is probably subsidized by their rich parents. New York, we are in trouble. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree for Zohran Mamdani. His dad, Mahmoud Mamdani, is a current professor at Columbia University. He's argued that modern jihad isn't rooted in Islamism, but is because of Western imperialism. In other words, America is to blame for 9/11. Here's a professor who assigned his book explaining what it means.
So tolerance, minorities within a nation state. What does it mean to have minority rights, but not to participate in sovereignty? It means that democracy is meaningless, because the majority is not the result of a democratic deliberation. The majority precedes democracy.
Right. Mamdani, the son, also appeared on Hassan's Piker's Twitch show during his primary campaign, and this is the guy who once said that America deserved 9/11.
This is so insane. America deserved 9/11, dude. Fuck it. I'm saying it.
So last week during the mayoral debate, Andrew Cuomo called him out for going on Piker's platform, and here's what Mamdani said.
I find the comments that Hassan made on 9/11 to be objectionable and reprehensible.
What a shock. Mamdani is distancing himself from himself, because he knows that while these connections may give him street cred with the Marxists in Brooklyn and the Commie Corridor and the social justice warriors in the West Village, this is going to be toxic to independents and even the old school Democrats that are still left in the city. So Mamdani's on record saying a lot about the Israel-Palestinian question. He has opinions, and yet he was mute when asked by Fox News' Martha McCallum to answer a simple yes or no. Should Hamas lay down its weapons?
Do you believe that Hamas should lay down their weapons and leave the leadership in Gaza?
I believe that any future here in New York City is one that we have to make sure that's affordable for all. And as it pertains to Israel and Palestine, that we have to ensure that there is peace. And that is the future that we have to fight for.
But you won't say that Hamas should lay down their arms and give up leadership in Gaza.
I don't really have opinions about the future of Hamas and Israel beyond the question of justice and safety and the fact that anything has to abide by international law. And that applies to Hamas, that applies to the Israeli military, applies to anyone you could ask me about.
He launched into an affordability pitch instead. I stand by my tweet at the time. This shouldn't be a trick question, least of all for such an internationally minded candidate that already set a precedent for himself of wading into this conflict in the most inflammatory way. His non-answer says everything. Now, he sang a whole different tune at the debate when he was asked a similar question. About an hour later in the debate, when his independent opponent in the mayoral race, Andrew Cuomo, accused Mamdani of refusing to denounce Hamas, Mamdani said, "Oh my gosh, I do it all the time. What are you talking about?"
The assemblyman will not denounce Hamas.
Of course, I believe that they should lay down their arms. I'm proud to be one of the first elected officials in the state who called for a ceasefire.
I'm glad he clarified, because right as Israel started implementing phase 1 of the peace agreement that Trump negotiated with Hamas, Hamas started executing Palestinians willy-nilly, those who were accused of collaborating with Israel, in the street. Where are the college protesters now? Where are the encampments? Where's Mamdani's outrage? I haven't seen any. So to recap, Mamdani has praised supporters of convicted terrorists, spread false claims about Israel, defended Hamas, even though now he claims he denounces them, and even compared Israel to apartheid South Africa. Now, you could argue that New York City politics are only about housing and crime, grocery prices, buses, and all of those other domestic issues that are insanely important. But the mayor of New York is always entangled in foreign affairs. This is why Mamdani's rhetoric is so alarming. His anti-Israel politics matter because New York City is an international hub and sometimes an international target. As National Review's Dan McLaughlin wrote, Rudy Giuliani kicked Yasser Arafat out of a Lincoln Center concert. Eric Adams was indicted for taking Turkish bribes. The United Nations is here. The city is crammed with foreign diplomats, consulates, and embassies. It's full of freshly arrived immigrants and foreign tourists. Foreign oligarchs invest in its real estate and make it a second home. It has an international airport and a major cargo seaport. It has been the target of multiple international terrorist attacks within living memory. A massive statue donated by France sits in the harbor, symbolizing the city's relationship with the outside world. This is all especially relevant because Trump just brokered this enormous peace deal between Israel and Hamas. No doubt none of Trump's predecessors could have accomplished that. I mean, Biden's weakness actually invited Hamas to invade Israel. Mamdani wants to continue that tradition of making America weak. He's on the side of the Democrats that want to kowtow to Iran, the sponsor of Hamas terrorism. And if this is how he feels, I have reason, as a New York City resident, to believe that New York City will be vulnerable to terrorism in the future. Do we really think that his mayorship would deter that? When I moved here 5 years ago during de Blasio's draconian tenure, I still plan to be in New York City for a long time. I love it here. It's my muse. The culture is a constant inspiration for me. So this race is about beating the communist here on the ballot at any cost. And look, as a conservative, it's hard to admit, but it's not going to happen for Curtis Sliwa. This is the second time he's tried this. Cuomo is not perfect. The nursing home scandal, the sexual harassment scandal, but I know he's more moderate than Bill de Blasio, for instance, and definitely more moderate than Mamdani. He wants the city to be safe. He doesn't want to run the millionaires and billionaires out of town because they're the tax base. Mamdani, on the other hand, is telling the innovators, the tech companies, high finance in general, to pound sand, go ahead and leave, don't let the door hit you on the way out. He's even said he would like to liquidate billionaires. So that's where he stands. But then again, it's Andrew Cuomo. Can I bring myself to vote for him? What do you think? Who would you vote for? I mean, we're clearly in between a rock and a hard place here. Is there a way out of this Mamdani mess, or should I start bracing for impact? Hoboken is looking lovely this time of year. Let us know your thoughts on the New York City mayor's race in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to our channel. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and for more, check out my articles at nationalreview.com.